Hello, my amazing students, and welcome again to your channel. Today we're going to simplify everything because sometimes English feels complicated, not because it is, but because we try to fix everything at once. Vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, confidence, speed, and when you try to improve all of it in one session, your brain shuts down. So today, I want to show you something different. A 10-minute speaking routine. Not 1 hour, not 2 hours, 10 minutes. And before you think, that's too little, stay with me. Because consistency beats intensity every single time. Now, let's be honest. If I told you to practice speaking for 1 hour every day, what would happen? Maybe you'd try for 3 days. Maybe 5. Then life happens. You're tired, busy, distracted, and you skip it. Then you feel guilty, then you stop completely. That's the real enemy, not lack of talent, inconsistency. 10 minutes feels light. 10 minutes doesn't scare your brain. 10 minutes is something you can repeat even on bad days. And repeatable habits build fluency. Now, let me explain something important. Speaking is not just about talking. It's about training 3 systems at the same time. Your mouth, your memory, your confidence. And all 3 improve through small, daily activation, not through occasional long sessions. Think about it this way. If you only speak once a week, your brain treats English like a rare event, something unusual, something slightly stressful. But if you speak every day, even briefly, English becomes normal, familiar, safe. And safe language flows better. So here's the structure of the 10-minute routine. Not complicated, very simple. Minute 1 to 2, wake up your mouth. Minute 3 to 5, guided repetition. Minute 6 to 8, personal expression. Minute 9 to 10, calm reflection. That's it. Let's break it down slowly. First 2 minutes, wake up your mouth. This sounds funny, but it matters. Your speaking muscles need activation. If you go all day speaking your native language and suddenly switch to English, your mouth feels stiff. So start with simple phrases, out loud. I'm starting my practice. Today I feel... It's a normal day. Don't think too much, just move your mouth. Even reading a short paragraph out loud works. The goal is not perfection. The goal is activation. Now, minute 3 to 5, guided repetition. Choose one short audio clip, 30 seconds. Listen once, then repeat sentence by sentence, not fast. Match rhythm, match tone. Not perfectly, just approximately. This builds pronunciation automatically. Your brain maps the sound. Your mouth copies it. And because it's short, it doesn't feel overwhelming. Now the most important part, minute 6 to 8, personal expression. This is where fluency grows. After repeating the clip, talk about it. Not in detail, just react. For example, I agree with this idea. I don't think that's true. This reminds me of... Even simple sentences count. The goal is to connect listening to speaking, not separate them. And here's the key. Do not stop every time you make a mistake. Keep talking, keep moving. Flow matters more than perfection. Now the last 2 minutes, reflection. Calm reflection, not criticism. Ask yourself, did I speak today? Yes, that's success. Did I hesitate sometimes? Okay, that's normal. Did I express something? Good, that's growth. You don't need dramatic improvement every day. You need repetition. Now let's address something honestly. Many learners think 10 minutes is not enough, but 10 minutes daily equals over 60 hours in a year. 60 hours of speaking activation. That's not small. That's powerful. And because it's light, you won't quit. You won't burn out. You won't feel overwhelmed. You'll just build slowly, quietly, consistently. And here's something important. This routine is not about motivation. It's about structure. Motivation changes. Structure stays. Even when you feel tired, you can say, "It's only 10 minutes," and you start. And starting is everything. Fluency doesn't require heroic effort. It requires daily contact, daily movement, daily small courage. So tomorrow, don't promise yourself an hour. Promise 10 minutes. Protect those 10 minutes. Treat them like brushing your teeth. Non-negotiable, simple, repeatable. And over time, you won't feel like someone trying to improve English. You'll feel like someone who speaks English daily. And identity change is stronger than motivation. This is not the fast method. It's the stable method. And stable methods win. There's something interesting that happens when people start a daily routine. At first, they overcomplicate it. They add extra steps, extra materials, extra pressure. And slowly, that simple 10-minute routine becomes heavy again. So let's talk about the mistakes that quietly destroy daily speaking habits, even when the intention is good. The first mistake? Trying to sound advanced. Listen, this is important. Your daily 10 minutes is not a performance. It's training. And training is allowed to look messy. If during your speaking time you're constantly searching for better words, trying to sound intelligent, trying to use complex grammar, you're shifting from practice mode to evaluation mode. And evaluation creates tension. Tension reduces fluency. Instead, during your 10 minutes, speak simply. Use the words you already know. Depth before complexity. For example, instead of saying, "From my perspective, the situation is considerably complicated," just say, "I think it's complicated." Fluency grows from comfort. Comfort grows from repetition. The second mistake? Stopping every time you make a mistake. This one is very common. You start speaking, you say something slightly wrong, you stop. You correct it. You restart the sentence. You stop again. And suddenly, 2 minutes are gone and you've barely spoken. During your 10-minute routine, flow matters more than accuracy. Let the sentence finish, even if it's imperfect. You can reflect afterward. But interrupting yourself constantly trains hesitation, and hesitation becomes a habit. You don't want hesitation as a habit. You want momentum as a habit. Now, here's another quiet mistake: using new material every single day. Novelty feels exciting, but it prevents depth. If you choose a different topic, different audio, different vocabulary every day, your brain never strengthens pathways. Instead, choose one small topic for a few days. Talk about it in different ways. For example, Day 1, describe your morning routine. Day 2, explain why you like or dislike your routine. Day 3, compare your routine to someone else's. Same theme, different angles. Repetition builds strength. Strength builds automaticity. Automaticity feels like fluency. There's also the problem of unrealistic expectations. Some learners expect their speaking to feel smooth within a week, and when it doesn't, they feel disappointed. But smoothness is a side effect of repetition, not a starting point. Imagine playing a musical instrument. The first few days feel awkward. The sound isn't beautiful. Your fingers feel slow. But if you play 10 minutes every day, something shifts. Your hands remember. Your brain predicts. Your movement becomes natural. Speaking works the same way. It's muscle memory plus mental patterns. And muscle memory requires daily activation. Now let's talk about fear. Sometimes, even during solo practice, people feel self-conscious. They worry about how they sound, even alone. That's interesting, right? Because it shows that the pressure is internal. So during your routine, I want you to remove the idea of good or bad. Replace it with one simple question. Did I speak today? If yes, success. The routine's purpose is not to impress you. It's to normalize English in your life. The more normal it feels, the less scary it becomes. And here's something subtle but powerful. When you practice daily, even for 10 minutes, you reduce the emotional gap between thinking about speaking and actually speaking. That gap is where anxiety lives. If you only speak occasionally, the gap is large. If you speak daily, the gap shrinks. Speaking becomes ordinary, and ordinary things don't trigger fear. Let's also address time. Some people say, I don't even have 10 minutes. But if you scroll your phone for 20 minutes, if you watch short videos, you have time. The question is priority, and 10 minutes is small enough to protect. It doesn't demand a lifestyle change, it just asks for consistency. Now imagine doing this for 30 days. No heroism, no dramatic effort, just 10 minutes every day. By day 10, you feel less resistance. By day 20, starting feels automatic. By day 30, skipping feels strange. That's when habit takes control. And habit is more reliable than motivation. So keep it simple, keep it light, protect the flow, avoid perfectionism, repeat themes, finish sentences, and most importantly, show up. Because daily contact transforms ability quietly. Not explosively, quietly. And quiet transformation is the kind that lasts. Something shifts after a few weeks of daily speaking, and it's not what most people expect. It's not suddenly perfect grammar. It's not advanced vocabulary appearing out of nowhere. It's something quieter. Your identity begins to change, and identity is powerful. At the beginning of your journey, you might think, I'm someone who is trying to improve my English. But after 30 days of speaking every single day, even just 10 minutes, that sentence changes. You start thinking, I'm someone who speaks English daily. That small shift transforms everything, because behavior follows identity. When you identify as someone who speaks daily, you don't negotiate the habit anymore. You protect it. You don't ask yourself, should I practice today? You just do it. And this identity shift doesn't happen through long sessions. It happens through repetition. Consistency builds self-trust. Self-trust builds confidence. Confidence reduces hesitation, and reduced hesitation improves fluency. See how that works? Now let's look at what's happening in your brain during these 10 minutes. Every time you speak, even imperfectly, you activate neural pathways. At first, they're weak, like soft lines in sand. But daily repetition strengthens them. And when a pathway strengthens, access becomes faster. That's why words begin to come to you more easily after a few weeks, not because you memorized more, but because the pathways became smoother. There's something else happening too. When you practice daily, your brain stops labeling English as rare. It becomes familiar, and familiarity reduces cognitive load. When something is rare, your brain treats it as unusual and slightly stressful. When something is daily, your brain treats it as normal. Normal feels safe. Safe improves performance. This is why speaking once a week feels scary, but speaking daily feels manageable. Frequency reduces fear. There's also the emotional side. Every time you complete your 10-minute session, you send yourself a message. I keep my promises. And that matters, because many learners lose confidence, not because they're incapable, but because they repeatedly break their own study promises. They plan big, they stop. They feel guilty. That cycle weakens self-belief. The 10-minute routine breaks that cycle. It's small enough to maintain, and maintaining it builds internal credibility. You start trusting yourself again. And when you trust yourself, you speak more freely. Now let's talk about momentum. Momentum is not built through intensity. It's built through continuity. Think about pushing a car. At first, it's heavy, hard. But once it moves slightly, it becomes easier. Daily speaking works the same way. The first few days might feel awkward, but by week 3, starting feels natural. And once starting feels natural, you stop resisting. When resistance disappears, improvement accelerates quietly. Another hidden benefit of daily speaking is reduced overthinking. When you speak rarely, every conversation feels important, high stakes. But when you speak daily, even briefly, speaking loses its dramatic feeling. It becomes normal behavior. And normal behavior doesn't trigger overanalysis. You don't replay every sentence in your head. You don't obsess over minor mistakes. You move forward. Forward movement is fluency. Now imagine yourself 3 months into this routine. You wake up, you complete your 10 minutes. You go about your day. Later, someone speaks to you in English, and you notice something subtle. You respond faster. Not perfectly, but faster. That speed isn't from cramming. It's from repetition. Your brain doesn't need extra time to switch languages, because English is already active. That activation effect is powerful. It reduces transition time between thinking and speaking, and reduced transition time feels like confidence. You didn't suddenly become fluent overnight. You became familiar, and familiarity builds comfort. Comfort builds flow. Now here's something I want you to remember. Big transformations are often the result of small, boring actions repeated consistently. Fluency is not dramatic, it's cumulative. And cumulative progress is invisible at first, but unstoppable over time. Your 10-minute habit may feel small today, but it's shaping something deeper. Your identity, your neural pathways, your emotional relationship with speaking. And when those 3 align, fluency feels natural, not forced, not chased, just developed, quietly. And that quiet development is stronger than sudden bursts of effort, because it stays. At some point, something interesting happens. Your 10-minute routine starts to feel easier. Not effortless, but less heavy. You no longer need to convince yourself to begin. You just start. And when that happens, it's time to evolve the routine. Not by adding more minutes, but by adding more intention. Because improvement doesn't always require more time, it requires better structure. So instead of increasing to 20 or 30 minutes, we build progression inside the same 10 minutes. Think of it like training at the gym again. You don't stay at the same weight forever. You adjust slightly, not dramatically, just enough to challenge growth. Here's how your week can look without changing the time. Monday, clarity day. Focus on speaking clearly and slowly. Don't rush. Choose a simple topic, maybe your weekend, your work, your morning routine. Speak at 70% speed. Your goal isn't speed, it's clarity. Pause when needed. Pronounce fully. This trains control, and control builds confidence. Tuesday, expansion day. Take the same topic from Monday. Now add details. If yesterday you said, I went to the gym, today say, I went to the gym because I wanted to improve my health, and I felt tired at first, but better after. Same idea, more depth. This stretches your sentence-building ability. Wednesday, story day. Now turn your topic into a short story, even a simple one. Instead of describing your routine, narrate something that happened. I woke up late, I almost missed my bus, I felt stressed. Stories improve fluency because they require connection words. Then, after that, suddenly, later. These connectors make speech flow naturally. Thursday, opinion day. Now shift from description to opinion. What do I think about working out daily? Why do I believe routine matters? Opinions activate a different part of your brain. You move from reporting facts to expressing ideas. That builds real conversational ability. Friday, speed control day. Now speak slightly faster than Monday. Not rushed, just slightly quicker. You're training reaction time, but only after building clarity earlier in the week. Speed without clarity creates panic. Speed with clarity creates smoothness. Saturday, free flow day. No structure, just talk. Let thoughts come naturally. If you repeat words, that's okay. If you pause, that's okay. This day builds comfort. Sunday, reflection day. Use your 10 minutes to reflect on the week. What felt easier? What felt difficult? Did starting feel automatic? Reflection strengthens awareness. Awareness accelerates improvement. Notice something here. We didn't increase time. We increased variation. Variation prevents boredom, but structure prevents chaos. That balance is powerful. Now imagine following this weekly pattern for 1 month. You won't feel stuck repeating the same thing. You'll feel progression. And progression keeps habits alive. Let's address something important. Some people think speaking alone isn't enough. They believe real improvement only happens in conversation. That's partially true. Conversation is important, but solo speaking prepares you for conversation. It builds internal stability. So when you enter a real conversation, you're not starting from zero. You're continuing something you've already practiced. And because your daily routine trained clarity, expansion, storytelling, and opinions, you feel prepared, not surprised. Another subtle advantage of weekly progression is reduced monotony. When routines feel repetitive without change, motivation drops. But when there's light evolution inside the structure, the brain stays engaged. Not overwhelmed, engaged. Engagement sustains consistency. Now let's talk about patience again. You may not notice dramatic changes week by week, but month by month, you will. Your hesitation reduces. Your vocabulary activates faster. Your pronunciation smooths slightly. Your comfort increases significantly. And comfort is the foundation of confident speaking. Don't underestimate comfort. It's what allows your personality to appear in English. And fluency without personality feels mechanical. The goal isn't robotic speech. It's expressive speech. And expression grows from repetition plus variation. So keep your 10 minutes. Protect them, but evolve them gently. No pressure, no doubling time. Just structured growth. and structured growth builds lasting fluency. Good. Now let's close this properly. Not with hype, not with unrealistic promises, just something real. Because if you truly follow this 10-minute routine, something deeper happens. It's not just your English that changes. It's your relationship with effort. Most people wait to feel ready before they begin. They wait for motivation, for free time, for confidence. But this routine teaches you something different. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start small. And when you start small every day, readiness follows. There's something powerful about keeping a promise to yourself daily, even if it's only 10 minutes, especially if it's only 10 minutes, because small promises are easier to protect. And every time you complete your session, you reinforce a quiet belief. I show up. That belief matters more than vocabulary. It matters more than grammar. Because once you believe you're someone who shows up daily, improvement becomes inevitable. Let's imagine 6 months from now. You've done this routine most days. Not perfectly, not heroically, just consistently. You sit down to speak, and something feels different. You don't hesitate as much. You don't translate every sentence. Your mouth moves more naturally. Your pauses feel calmer. You're not searching desperately for words. They come. Maybe not fast, but steady. That steadiness is fluency beginning to form. And you didn't get there by forcing 2-hour sessions. You didn't get there by overwhelming yourself. You got there by respecting 10 minutes. 10 minutes that built momentum. 10 minutes that trained your mouth. 10 minutes that strengthened neural pathways. 10 minutes that reduced fear. The magic is not in the duration. It's in the repetition. Repetition removes drama from speaking. And when drama disappears, clarity increases. Now, let's be honest again. There will be days when you don't want to do it. Days when you feel tired, distracted, unmotivated. That's normal. The difference between people who improve and people who stop is simple. One group lowers the standard but keeps the habit. The other group raises the standard and quits. If you're exhausted, speak for 5 minutes instead of 10. But don't break the chain. Chains build identity. Identity builds discipline. Discipline builds fluency. This routine is not about intensity. It's about sustainability. And sustainable methods win long-term. Here's something else important. Don't compare your 10 minutes to someone else's hour. You don't see their consistency. You only see their result. Focus on your rhythm, your pace, your daily action, because daily action compounds quietly. You may not see it today, you may not feel it next week, but month after month, your brain adapts. Your confidence stabilizes. Your speaking speed improves slightly. Your reaction time shortens. And one day, you'll notice something simple but powerful. You're speaking without thinking about speaking. That's when you know the habit worked. Not because you chased fluency, but because you practiced presence. Daily. Calmly. Repeatedly. So protect your 10 minutes. Guard them like something valuable. Because they are. They're shaping your ability. They're shaping your identity. And most importantly, they're shaping your belief in yourself. You don't need massive effort. You need reliable effort. 10 minutes every day. And over time, those minutes become momentum. Momentum becomes confidence. Confidence becomes fluency. And fluency becomes normal. That's the transformation. Not dramatic, but permanent. If this episode helped you, stay consistent with me. We're building something steady here. No rush, no shortcuts, just real progress. And I'll see you in the next one.